Today we're gathered to unveil a patriotic banner that is part of a nationwide event dedicated to honoring the fallen heroes of Iraq and Afghanistan through Big Nick's Ride and Tribute Flight.
During his speech at the Massachusetts Iraq and Afghanistan Fallen Heroes Memorial Fundraiser in Boston last December, Marine Corps General Kelly said, "Since the Declaration of Independence, 42 million Americans have claimed the honor of having served the nation in its military forces, including some of you here today. Since that time, over 1 million have lost their lives serving the colors, with millions more wounded. Since George Washington first took command of the Continentals besieging Boston, America's warriors have stepped forward and endured horrors unimaginable to most Americans, and saw it all with their young eyes, so those safe at home would never have to. With all this service and loss of life, we as Americans can be proud to be the kind of people we are, and we have never retained a square foot of any country that we've defeated. We possess no empire, no man or woman call us master, and we have never subjugated any society. On the contrary, billions across the planet, and billions more yet unborn, are today free and increasingly prosperous because America took a stand. But it has not always fallen on the shoulders of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Marines that the task fell to, and they have never wavered. Many of them died protecting one another, but they served so that we could keep the things that we love the most, God, country, and family, by remaining true to these principles. We honor their sacrifice. In honor of the nearly 135 Massachusetts men and women and their grieving families who have made the ultimate sacrifice, with a special thank you to Commander John Galloway and everyone at Tribute Flight, which is a 77-day mission flown in a specially modified aircraft, you have a picture of it below the podium, bearing the names of the American and coalition troops in Braille on the side of the plane. So there are over 5,000 names on this plane. And beginning next summer, the Tribute Flight, the Eagle, will fly to every state in the United States during the 77-day period, landing at towns and cities where fallen troops have come from, visiting between 5 and 10 airports every day, including this very special, beautiful, and historic Barnstable Municipal Airport, where my own son was brought home for the last time. Whether one fought in World War II, Korea, the jungles of Vietnam, the Middle East, or elsewhere, the stories of American heroism and sacrifice continue to resonate. The preamble of the Constitution of the American Legion calls on us to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in these great wars. It is important that all veterans, their families, and in fact all Americans like us, pause to reflect on, remember, and give thanks to our many heroes. We owe them no less. We are Americans, and we are free today because someone fought, bled, or died in our place. And I vow that as long as there is breath in my body, that their sacrifice will not be in vain. Thank you, Bud.
And this obviously a wonderful tribute for Gold Star mothers and fathers such as yourselves. Tell me a little bit about why it's important to remember what your sons did to serve our country.
Well, it really does mean a lot, because that's one thing you don't want is for your child who served their country is to be forgotten. You remember, but you want others to remember and never forget that why they can enjoy themselves getting up in the morning and just enjoying the sun and not have to worry about the enemy behind them.
Right.
I think it's important for everybody to realize, especially civilians, the sacrifice that the military make, the sacrifice not only the soldiers and the Marines that fight for our freedoms, but also for the families. I think it's very hard for the families, and I think all military families and anybody, even policemen or firemen, anybody who puts a uniform on to protect us, I think we have to really respect them, and we don't want them to be forgotten. Any of them who sacrifice their lives to put themselves in harm's way for our freedom, they need to be honored, everyone.
Absolutely. And how best would you say, I mean, this tribute flight, I think, is just an amazing example of the way in which all of our fallen soldiers can be remembered, the trip that's going across the country. What are your initial thoughts about the upcoming tribute flight?
Wow. I just can't wait to see that plane, and just knowing that's another step that our children won't be forgotten, in that hopefully the younger generation that will look up to it and ask questions about it, and their parents can truthfully answer, what it all means.
It's an absolute beautiful tribute to all of them.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us, and thank you for the service of your sons. Okay, now we're here with Deputy Chief Stephen Exaros. Tell me a little bit about what it means for you to be called a Gold Star father.
It's something I wish I wasn't,
True.
So when you're a Blue Star father, that means you have someone in battle, and you just worry every day, and you pray you don't become a Gold Star, and, we did 3 years ago. So what does it mean? It means that, we've made the ultimate sacrifice, and, it changes your life forever. We'll never be the same, but we stay busy and we try to honor those that made the sacrifice, but more important, what it means is you got to take care of those that made it home.
Absolutely.
Because that's what Nick would want, that's what Mark would want, that's what Eric would want. So, they didn't make it home, but their families will help others in their memory, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and you really have done a remarkable job in keeping the memory of Nick alive, and also helping him in his memory help others and families of people who are in the situation that you're in, as well as those whose children are off at war. So I commend you for that, certainly. Tell me about the tribute flight, because this really is just an amazing endeavor.
And great question. I didn't know anything about it 6 months ago. A friend saw it on Facebook, so the friend Facebooked me. I reached out to them. They're in California, and said, hey, we're having this motorcycle ride, and it's really kind of what you're talking about. So they flew here, and came to the ride. They made this beautiful banner. And since then, we just made this strong connection. So the idea is they're going to, visit every state starting next year, 77 days in a row, starting in Hawaii, and ultimately ending at the Super Bowl. So for 77 days, they'll visit every state, make 5 or 6 stops in every state which has lost someone, and one of them will be here. So it's just amazing how it works, and tribute flight is awesome, and to have them connect with the Cape at this beautiful airport, which, a lot of people don't know, but in World War II, this airport was used for training our military.
Wow.
Yeah, so it means a lot, and that's how we carry on.
Absolutely, and as you say, this flight not only stopping at large, major metropolitan airports, but also smaller airports such as here in Barnstable. So
yeah,
it's an interesting way to honor the fallen, for sure.
Yeah, and the plane itself has the names of over 5,000 written on the outside of it in Braille. No one is allowed to go in it, and it's just almost like a moving tribute, basically, and it's amazing.
Absolutely. So any words of advice from you as a Gold Star father and as a member of our community, what we can do best to honor those who have served and who continue to serve?
That's a great question. One thing is to go on and live your lives, like have fun and go to those games and cheer. But really, the Red Sox players and athletes, they're not heroes. The real heroes are the men and women that pick up a weapon and travel to these horrible places and make a difference. So, what we would like you to do is remember, but live your lives to the fullest. And when you see a soldier or a Marine or a sailor or an airman or a Coast Guardsman, I always go and say thank you. Or, if they're standing in line buying a cup of coffee, buy it for them, It's a nice little thing to do, and just show them that we love them and we support them.
Absolutely. Well, Deputy Chief Exaros, thank you so much for today.
Thank you very much.